Good morning. Namaste to each of you. Thank you for joining me this morning to honor your mind and your body and your spirit. Let's just take a moment to become present. Find a nice, comfortable seated position where you can sit on a cushion or a block, pillow, towel, something that allows your spine and the back of your neck to sit nice and long and tall, opening up your chest, opening up your diaphragm, and opening up your heart. Let's gently close our eyes and soften our thoughts. Soften our eyes. Soften our shoulders. Soften our heart. Observe your breath as it is, soft and gentle, breathing life into you with each inhale and relaxation with each exhale. Feel the grace of being present, returning to that awareness again and again. You may open your eyes now. For this morning's intention, you may want to think of a positive thought or a phrase to have with you on your mat and perhaps carry with you throughout the day. This morning's intention I'd like to talk about is the Solar Plexus Chakra. So chakra is Sanskrit for wheels, and there are 7 major chakras or wheels of energy that run along our spine. The third chakra of 7 is the solar plexus. Think of the solar plexus as having a room of its own that affects, or scratch that. Think of the solar plexus chakra as having its own function in your physical and subtle body, like a room has its own function in your house. That's what I'm trying to say. Think of this chakra as the sunroom where you become solar powered. When the solar plexus chakra is in balance, you feel empowered, motivated, strong in your decisions, and decisive. When it's out of balance, from being either overactive or underactive or blocked, you may experience physical or emotional disturbances, such as digestive issues, a need to control, or feeling insecure. And these disturbances may be long-term pattern or situational event. So yoga's toolkit of asanas, our poses, our pranayamas, meditations, and even the science of Ayurveda can help to balance your chakras. So for pranayama this morning, working with the solar plexus, we're going to do the Bhastrika breathing technique. And Bhastrika is also known as the Bellows breath. So it's getting further and further removed as to what a bellow is. we oldsters know exactly what that is, but it's something that it's a tool to fan the fire. So think of it as fanning your inner fire. And to do it, it's a very active exhale and very active inhale. So almost like panting a dog, but kind of accelerating that a little bit. So just to demonstrate, it's we'll do it with our mouth closed, and it's coming through the nose. So it may get a little moist there. So it's, and actually if I back up, you can see this. So if we do just like 5 or 6 of these inhale, exhales, energetic, and just pause, go back to our natural breath, and then just do a few more rounds of those. That should be, and if you get to the point where you feel a little lightheaded, just stop and go back to your normal breath, because it is very energetic. And what it does is it energizes the mind and the body and boosts your metabolism, and it enhances focus and improves lung function and your digestion. So it has a lot of things going on. So again, Bellows breath, active inhale, active exhale. Let's do it just for a few rounds. And then pause and we'll come back to our normal breath. And then try it again. And pause, come back to our normal breath. You can feel getting heated up, fanning that fire in my body. And then one last time. And there we go. Great. And so for our meditation this morning, we're going to sit and do a visualization. It's going to be a visualization for sure today, because it's a very overcast, kind of rainy, maybe snowy, perhaps day. And I'd like you to visualize that you're sitting in a warm, sunny spot. You feel the warmth of the sun surround you and fill you with positive energy. Just take a moment to kind of feel that. Obviously, for me, I have to close my eyes because it's really dark and gray out. And if you'd like to add an affirmation, the affirmation to add would be, I am calm, confident, and powerful. I am calm, confident, and powerful. may open your eyes now. So this morning, we're talking again about the Solar Plexus Chakra. Chakra. And where it's located is where your navel is, and it goes up and includes the solar plexus, which sits behind your stomach and in front of your aorta. And it's kind of in here. If you've ever had like kind of a panicky feeling, you can feel it right in that chakra. It also affects your ribs and all your digestive organs, your stomach, some intestines, other things that go on down there, and your navel. I mean, that's where it starts. So it's this section of your body, and along with the sacral chakra, which we talked about last week, which starts below that, that makes up your core. When we talk about your core area, that's where that is. So let's start this morning with let's start by rubbing our hands together and try to get some heat going. And it's April day here, and kind of cold and damp, and just try, coming from that visualization of sitting in this so nice warm sun, having it fill you with this warmth and energy, and just kind of bring that to the outside. Just rub our hands till they feel nice and warm. Starting our engines here. Alrighty, and then we're going to do a few sun breaths and chest openers. So bringing our fingertips to the mat and inhaling, slowly bringing our arms up overhead. And bringing them palms together, and then exhaling, bringing our palms to our heart center. And a nice inhale, opening up our palms, bringing them toward the back of the room, expanding our rib cage here. And then closing our hands together on the exhale. Inhale up. And exhale down. We'll do that a couple more times. Inhale up. Exhale down, bringing your hands to heart center. Inhale, opening up the hands, nice and wide. Opening up your chest and you're expanding your rib cage. And then closing your hands on the exhale. Inhale up. And exhale down. One last time, nice, deep, even breaths. Exhale. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open, or up rather. And exhale down. And whatever leg you have on the outside, take that leg and bring the knee so that it goes up to the sky. We're going to do a twist. So we're going to wrap the, I have my right leg up, so I'm going to wrap my left arm, my opposite arm around that, and then bring the right hand behind my hips. And usually we just kind of go to this side on our twist, but I'm going to encourage you to really kind of twist it looking over your shoulder. So you're really twisting that solar plexus area, feeling it in the rib cage. And then come back to center. We'll do that on the other side. So change feet. We're gonna have I have my left leg up. I'm gonna wrap my right arm around it and bring my left fingertips behind my hips. And I'm gonna start looking to the side, but then I'm gonna bring my gaze over my left shoulder, really twisting that solar plexus area. And then we'll come back to center. We'll come up onto our hands and knees to tabletop. So our hands are spread nice and wide, gripping the mat. Knees are right below our hips, wrists are right below our shoulders, navel's tucked to the spine. We'll just send our nose to the right and then back to center and then to the left. Just kind of warming up our upper shoulder area and neck area. And just kind of make a nice even movement from right to left and then left to right. Gentle, easy movements. And then we'll come back to center. And we'll do a few cat-cows. So we're going to round our back, dropping our head and tailbone down, coming into cat. And then inhale, lifting our head and tailbone up, sending our gaze straight ahead. Have an even distribution of weight in our hands. And then rounding our back on the exhale, coming back to cat. Inhale, lifting our head and our tailbone, sending our gaze straight ahead for cow. We'll do that just a few more times. Create a nice flow with this as well. Synchronizing your movements to your deep breaths. And one last time, and then we'll meet in the center at tabletop. And we'll bring our knees together so that they're touching. We'll send the right leg up to hip height and even distribution of weight in your hands. And then we're going to lift the left arm up. And then we're going to bring that left elbow and right knee together underneath. And then extend it out again. We'll do this several times. So bring the elbow and knee together, extend out, in, touching the elbow and knee, extend out, bring them in, extend out, bring them together, extend out, bring them together, extend out, bring them together, extend out. One last time, together, extend out, and then bring both hand and knee to the mat, and we'll do that on the other side. So again, have your weight distributed in your hands, nice and even, pushing down, creating that nice space between your shoulders and your ears, lifting the left leg up to hip height, keeping your hip bones parallel to the mat, lifting the right arm up And then bringing the elbow and knee together, extend out, elbow to knee, 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 extend out, and bring the hand and the knee back down. Now we'll kickstand our left foot outside the mat, sending our right foot down to the bottom of the mat. Left wrist is right below the left shoulder. We'll start off with a modified side plank. So just sweep our hand up, right hand up to the sky and have it straight up to the sky. You can send your gaze up to that hand. And then we're going to take that hand and kind of pull it up so we come up off the mat and go into a gate pose. Bringing our right hand down to our right thigh. Left arm comes up overhead, arching to the right. And then we'll come back down, placing our left hand down on the mat, sending our right hand up to the sky, and then bringing our right hand back down to the mat. We'll do this 2 more times. Sweep the right hand up to the sky, and then pulling yourself up, bringing the right hand to the right thigh, left arm arched overhead, and then back to modified side plank, hand straight up, and then the hand comes down. One last time, sweeping the hand up, really opening up the chest and the rib cage, and then you feel it in your solar plexus when you pull up, coming down into gate pose, and then back to modified side plank. And bringing our hand back down, coming to tabletop. And we'll do that on the other side. Kickstand our right foot out, sending our left foot down to the bottom of the mat. We'll sweep the left hand up to the sky, and then pulling ourselves up, we'll come into gate pose, and then gently returning to the modified side plank, and then bringing that left hand back down. We'll do that 2 more times, sweeping up, coming up and over into gate pose, and then coming back down to side plank, and bringing our left hand back down. One last time, sweeping up, and coming up, and going into gate pose, and then coming back down. And comes back down to the mat. Come back to tabletop. Tucking our toes under, we're going to walk our hands back, coming to the balls of the feet, and into a squat, pushing down, coming up into mountain pose. So we'll bring our toes and point them toward the long edge of the mat, or straight edge of the mat, maybe facing on the short edge. Lift the toes up off the mat, spreading them apart, bringing them back down, lifting your heels up off the mat, and bringing them back down, really feeling that grounding that mountain pose does. Our legs are nice and straight and strong. We'll come in, that's part of the root chakra. Root chakra is all about what I need, the foundation. So I need nice strong legs, nice strong foundation. And then the solar plexus affects your knees, the sacral Sacral chakra affects your knees, so a gentle bend in your knees, that fluidity that the sacral chakra gives to our emotions, other things, and it's all about what I want. And then we'll come into the solar plexus chakra. And that's about tucking your navel to your spine, all about the essentials of good posture, but also mountain pose. And the solar plexus is all about I will, that confidence, that determination. And then we go to the heart chakra, and then our throat chakra. Oops, heart chakra is all about relaxing our shoulders, rolling them back. Throat chakra is tucking our chin slightly so it's not jutting out. Third eye chakra is about sending our gaze outward or inward. And then the top of our head, the crown chakra, reaching our crown up to the sky. So then as we are finished, we have that nice essentials of good posture, nice straight and solid mountain pose. And we're opening up all our chakra systems. So sweep our hands up overhead and exhale down, bringing our hands to the mat, bending our knees as we go to support our lower back. And just check in here for a moment where you may have landed might be, where your thighs are resting or your ribs are resting on your thighs. And just check into that area to see how you're feeling this morning. Feeling confident? Or maybe a little bit of insecurity? How's your digestion? Is it firing on all cylinders, or is it a little funky this morning? Just kind of check in. And then we'll lift our hands to our shins, flatten out our back for half forward fold, and send our hands down, crown of our head down toward the mat. And sweep our hands all the way up overhead. And as they come up overhead, we lift ourselves up onto our tippy toes. And then slowly lower our hands and our heels back down to the mat. We'll do that 2 more times. Gently sweep our hands up overhead. As we lift our hands, we're coming up onto our tippy toes. And then lowering down, lowering our hands, lowering our heels. And one last time, sweeping up, all the way up, coming up onto our tippy toes. And then slowly lowering our hands down, and our heels come down. And then we'll bring our hands all the way down to the mat, bending our knees again. Bringing our hands to our shins for half forward fold, nice flat back, straight line between our tailbone and our head. And then the crown comes down toward the ground. And then we'll sweep our hands all the way up again. Come up overhead. Palms come together. We're going to interlace our fingers, sending our index finger up to the sky, having our arms alongside our ears as best we can. Then we'll tip our torso over to the right, then come back up, tip our torso over to the left, come back up, again to the right, back up, and to the left, back up. Release our hands, bring them back down to the mat, bend our knees as we go. Inhale, bringing our hands to our shins, creating a nice straight line with our spine. Nice flat back. Crown of the head then drops down toward the mat. And then sweeping our hands once again up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. And then turn to the side. We're going to do a leg lift. So we're just going to bring our leg up off the mat, trying to maintain those essentials of good posture, mountain pose, all at once. Navel's tucked into the spine, shoulders are relaxed and roll back. And then we'll send our right foot to the back. Land in high lunge. See if you can roll that foot back down so the heel's touching the mat. It's not necessary, but if you can, that's great. Stretch out that calf. And then we'll bring that back. We'll do the same on the other side. And trying to maintain that straight, upright posture, just lifting our left leg up off the mat. And then we'll send that left foot behind us, landing on our toes, and then rolling down to have our heel on the mat. And stretching out that calf. And then we'll bring that foot back. We'll sweep our hands up overhead. And exhale, bring your hands down to the mat. Inhale up. Nice half forward fold. And then dropping the crown of our head down toward the mat. Sweeping our hands up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. And palms come to the back of our hips. Relaxing our shoulders, tucking our chin toward our chest. Just drop our shoulders back to the point where you feel that sweet spot, that spot between effort and relaxation. And your breath is nice and even. And then coming back up. The solar plexus, like the other chakras, are connected to an element, and the solar plexus element is about fire, and working those core muscles, those digestive juices for transformation. So the other component of it is energy and strength that you get. And when I think about strength, I think about the inner strength and the physical strength, the subtle strength and the physical strength. And warrior poses always comes to mind. So these are great poses to stimulate your solar plexus chakra. So we're going to go through our other sequence, exploring those other warriors, that warrior, that being empowered and decisive and stuff, that inner strength that a warrior has as well. So let's start with mountain pose, sweeping our hands up overhead, and then coming down to the mat with our hands, bending our knees. Inhale, hands to the shins. And then hands come down to the mat, sending both feet down to the bottom of the mat, coming into plank pose. Plank pose, our wrists are right below our shoulders. Navel's tucked to the spine, very important part of plank pose, building that core strength. Don't want any saggy tummies. Need to have that navel tucked to the spine, elevating your hips slightly. And then we'll come down to the mat, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, keeping your elbows tucked to your side. And bringing your hands alongside of you, palms facing up, resting your chin on the mat. We'll go to half locust, then to full locust. So let's raise our right leg up. You can feel it on that area where your rib cage is. And then lowering it down. Left leg goes up. That solar plexus chakra is activated. And then left leg comes down. And then both legs and both arms come up like Superman, Superwoman, flying through the air. And then both come back down. Bring our hands right below our shoulders. Lifting our chin and chest up, coming up into cobra. Elbows tucked to our side. And then we're going to extend our elbows and come up onto the tops of the foot for up dog. Lifting our feet up, flipping them over, and coming into downward dog. So from up dog to downward dog. And we'll pedal out. And then lift the right foot up, just send it directly behind you, lifting it up to the sky, and then back down, pedal out. And then we'll send it up, right foot up again, lifting it up to the sky as best you can, and back down, pedal out. And then one last time, lifting the right leg up to the sky, bringing it back down, bending the right knee toward your chest. We're going to bring it between our hands, the foot between our hands, rather, coming into runner's lunge. And then we'll pivot the back foot down so that the ball of the foot and heel are on the ground, on the mat, at a right angle, 45-degree angle. And then lifting our hands up to the sky, coming into warrior one. Warrior one's about flexibility. And we'll come back down with our hands to the mat. And then we're going to bring our left foot up to our right foot, coming into a forward fold. Sweeping our hands up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. And then we're going to lift our right leg up, just as we did before. And send it behind us as far as we can reach. Bringing that foot all the way down to the mat. So it's all the foot and the heels on the mat at a 45-degree angle. And then pivot our body to the long side of the mat, coming into warrior two. So we can sweep our hands up to shoulder height. Navel's tucked to the spine. Rib cage is nice and open. Chest is open. This warrior is about strength. Sending our gaze to our left fingertips. We'll drop our right hand down, lifting our left hand up to the sky for peaceful warrior. You don't need to be an aggressive warrior to be a warrior. You do it in peaceful manners. It's that determination that makes you the warrior. And then bringing the left arm down to the left thigh, sweeping the right hand up directly to the sky, sending our gaze up to the hand. And then sending our right hand down to the mat, pivoting our back foot, coming into runner's lunge. We're going to bring that right foot up to meet the left foot, coming into forward fold. And then sweeping our hands from the mat up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. And then we'll go into warrior three. Again, we're going to lift that right leg up. And you can do many different things with your hands. You can keep them in prayer pose. You can bring them out to the sides and back for that Superman effect. Up overhead's another option. So that's the traditional. I'm going to keep them in prayer pose. So bringing that right leg back, extending it fully. Left knee is bent. And if you can straighten it a little further, that's fine. It doesn't have to be. I think the bent knee adds that flexibility that you need for that pose. And then you can release from the pose when you're all set. And we'll do that on the other side. So sweeping our hands up overhead. Hands come down to the mat. Bending our knees. Hands come to our shins. Nice flat back. And then planting our hands on the mat, sending both feet back. Coming into plank pose. Then we'll lower to the mat, chaturanga. Bringing our hands alongside, palms facing up, chin just gently resting on the mat. We'll go into half locust, raising the right leg up, and then lowering it, and raising the left leg up, and lowering it, and then raising both legs and lifting both arms off the mat. And then bringing them back down. Bring our hands underneath our shoulders, elbows tucked to our sides, gently lifting our chin and chest up, coming into cobra. And then we'll go into up dog by fully extending our hands, being on the tops of our feet. And then we'll flip our feet over, send our hips up to the sky, coming into downward dog. And we'll pedal out here for a moment. And then lift our left leg up to the sky. And then back down. We pedal out. Lifting the foot up to the sky. And then back down. And one last time, lifting that left foot up to the sky, bringing it back down, then bending the knee and sending the foot forward, coming into runner's lunge. Be careful with that transition. And then we'll turn our back foot down to the mat. So it's at a 45-degree angle. Both ball and heel are on the mat. Sweeping our hands up to the sky. Come into warrior one. And then we'll sweep our hands back down to the mat. Bring the right foot up to join the left. Come into forward fold. And sweeping our hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. And we'll go into warrior two by lifting our left leg up off the mat and sending it behind us as far as you can comfortably. You may want to tweak that position once you've landed. We'll come into warrior two. So our body faces the long edge of the mat. Front knees over the ankle. Back foot's nice and snug in the mat. Sweeping our arms up to shoulder height. And then turning our gaze to look at our right fingertips. And then we'll drop our left hand down to the thigh as we raise our right hand up to come into peaceful warrior. And then the right arm comes down, landing on the right thigh. Left hand goes up to the sky, sending our gaze up to the sky. And then bringing our left hand down to the mat, pivoting back to runner's lunge. And then we'll bring that left foot up to join it with the right foot and come into forward fold. Sweeping our hands up overhead. Palms come together and palms come to heart center. And we'll go into warrior three, the balancing pose. Sometimes it takes fierce determination to keep balance in your life. So we'll do that. And you can extend your foot back as far as is comfortable for you. Again, what you do with your arms, whatever works for you. But we're just going to work on balancing our life here. And then we'll release from that pose. Well done. And we'll bring our pinky toes out to the edges of the mat, tucking our heels in. Palms come together, and we'll lower our hips, coming into that wide-legged squat. Elbows come to the inside of our knees. Just relax here for a moment. And then we'll bring our sit bones down to the mat and come into staff pose. So staff pose, we're creating this very definitive L shape here. I like taking my hands and making fists and pushing down, lifting up, and coming back down. I'm really feeling like I'm grounding in this seated pose. Toes are flexed up to the sky. Back is nice and straight. Then we're going to bring our feet to the mat, bending our knees to the sky. Tuck our hands underneath our knees and keeping that nice straight back position. You can, accentuate it by kind of pulling yourself toward your knees, but with that nice straight back. We're going to lift up our feet off the mat and come into half boat. And keeping that nice straight back, we'll release our hands. And then bringing our feet back down to the mat, keeping our hands tucked under our knees. We're going to roll down to our back. The express method, come down to the mat and then hugging our knees to our chest. Just going to rock back and forth, massage that lower back. And then we'll bring our hands behind our heads, interlacing our fingers and just cradling our head in our hands. And that's the key word, is cradling our head. We're not going to be using our hands to actively participate in this. It's just support for our head. And then we're going to take our legs and put them into a 90-degree angle as if we're sitting in a chair. And then we'll just rise up using our chin and our chest toward our knees. And guess what? We feel it right in that solar plexus area. And then we'll bring our head back down. We'll do this a couple times. So we'll just bring our chin and chest up toward our knees and then lower them. Again, our hands are only there to support our head, not pull on our head. And then lift up again with our chin and our chest, feeling in our solar plexus, and then back down. A couple more times. Lift the chin and chest up, and then back down. Lift the chin and chest up, and back down. And one last time, lift the chin and chest up, and back down. Now we're going to keep our chin and chest up, and we're going to kind of walk our feet. So we're going to extend the left leg, keeping the right leg at the 90 degree, and then switch. So we extend the right leg, keeping the left leg all the time. All the while, we're keeping our chin and chest up. So find where your lower back is supported on the mat. So your feet may be up here, they might be here, or they may even be lower down. So you can find that comfort or sweet spot where your lower back is being supported. We'll just kind of extend our feet one at a time, slowly with control. Again, we're chin and chest is up off the mat. If that's comfortable for you, using your hands as a cradle to support your head, not pulling it. We'll just do this for a little longer. You feel that in your solar plexus. And then you can continue doing this if you want to add a little bit more energizing to your routine here. You can take your arm, your opposite elbow to opposite knee. So I'm going to bring my right elbow to my left knee, left elbow to my right knee, and so forth, and so on, extending. Again, my hands are there, just supporting my head, not pulling on it. Do a couple more of these. 3, 2, 1, and release. Bring your keeping your knees where they are at that right angle. We're going to drop the knees to the right side, incline twist. I'm going to keep my hands behind my head, and then slowly turn my gaze to my left elbow. And then gently turning my head back to center, lifting the knees back to center, lowering them over to the left side. And then slowly turning my head toward my right elbow. And then slowly turning the head again back to center, lifting the knees back to center, sending your feet down to the bottom of the mat, preparing for Shavasana, bringing your arms alongside at an angle, with the palms lifted up to the sky. Take a nice deep inhale, and then just release everything into the mat. Continue on with a few deep inhales and exhales. And today's poem I have for you, one of my favorites for this time of year, Two Tramps in Mud Time by Robert Frost. And it's excerpts from the entire poem, it's a big poem. The sun was warm, but the wind was chill. You know how it is with an April day. When the sun is out and the wind is still, you're 1 month on in the middle of May. But if you so much as dare to speak, a cloud comes over the sunlit arch. A wind comes off a frozen peak, and you're 2 months back in the middle of March. A bluebird comes tenderly up to a light and turns to the wind to unruffle a plume, his song so pitched as not to excite a single flower as yet to bloom. It is snowing a flake, and he half knew winter was only playing possum, except in color he isn't blue, but he wouldn't advise a thing to blossom. The water for which we may have to look in summertime with a witching wand, in every wheel rut's now a brook, in every print of a hoof a pond. Be glad of water, but don't forget the lurking frost in the earth beneath that will steal forth after the sun is set and show on the water its crystal teeth.